All right. Hey, Betsy.
Hey, Gabby. It's been a month.
I know, a whole month. And this is our second episode of Title Talk, The Real Deal with Betsy and Gabby. Again, my name is Gabby.
My name's Betsy. We're with Eagle Title in Towson.
And we're settlement agents there. And we do commercial and residential real estate transactions. And this is our special spooky Halloween edition for our podcast.
Yep, we're getting into the holiday.
We are. So my question for you, Betsy, this month is, what do you think the most popular Halloween costume will be this year?
That's a tough one. And I don't have my costume ready yet, so I'm not quite sure how to answer that. I know you have an answer. So go ahead.
And mark my words, I think this year will be the K-pop Demon Hunters for the most popular costume, because all the kids right now, you probably haven't seen it, but maybe your grandsons watch it.
No.
But it's number one on Netflix. And every time I open Netflix, kids Netflix, I hear all the songs. So I already know the songs without even watching it.
Well, what's a costume? What does it look like? Like, how do you
cute.
dress
it's
Benny as...
Oh, well, Benny's not going to be that for Halloween. That'll be a surprise what Benny's going to be. But what it is it's this like girl K-pop group. Do you know what K-pop is?
No.
It's like Korean pop.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah. So it's like huge right now. And I don't know the premise, to be honest. I think they like go out and they have to save the world from demons or something. It's just like a really goofy premise, but it's like the cute girls, and then there's the boy band too. So you'll probably see the girls' costumes and the boys' costumes as Halloween.
Got it. Well,
yeah.
I do know that my grandson, who was born before the Pope was selected, his name is Leo. So he's going to be dressed as Leo. His name is Leo, so he's going to be dressed as the Pope.
Oh my gosh,
that's the one costume that I have. I know my daughter has nailed. So.
Well, Leo, you could do a lot with, like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leo the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And DiCaprio has so many different films. You could dress him up as something from all of his different films.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, every year.
You notice Gabby and I are talking about Halloween, and we have blocked out our discussion on the Ravens. So
we're not talking about the Ravens anymore. Maybe we were bad luck. What do you think?
Next year we'll regroup on that. But so what's our focus?
Well, before we do that, I do want to introduce our guest today. This is Escrow Eddie. So he's going to be joining us for the podcast, and if he has anything to say, he can read it.
And Escrow Eddie is wearing an Eagle Title hat, and he's got his Halloween candy, and he's really good to have along because he just agrees with everything we say.
He's so agreeable.
He never refutes our comments. He never says we had the wrong
answer. The best guy. He's the best guy. Is Drew like that?
Eddie. No, Drew is not like that.
There's TJ.
His mouth is open, though. You will know. Thanks for joining us, Eddie. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you, Escrow Eddie. So chime in whenever. All right. So, Betsy, let's talk about title insurance today. It's a topic.
Oh, we didn't talk about our beverage and our theme.
You are correct. You are correct. Go ahead, take it away.
So, Gabby and I, besides all the props, and we'll get into our costumes a little later, but the beverage is a spiced cider.
And it's delicious.
To go along with the theme. Yep. Yep. So, and of course, Halloween candy
and these Reese's, which I will be eating after the podcast is over today.
Sour
Patch Kid.
Do you want to talk about what we're wearing?
Yeah. So I went with the all blackout to be the bad witch, and Betsy over here went with
the whole
good witch.
White out. To be the good witch.
Yeah.
Or the black can be the good, or the white can be the bad.
It might even
went with the
And I think this plays into real life sometimes too. The good witch, bad witch vibes.
Totally entitled when you call someone and you say, "I'm sorry, you have an open lien from 30 years ago," or "There's an encroachment on your property."
And the good witch comes in and saves the day.
And who's a good witch?
You. And Stacy.
Our underwriter, she solves every problem.
She's fantastic.
But you're right. There's the good and bad in the title world. So, okay. So are we going to get serious?
Yeah, let's get serious. Let's talk about something that is very serious: title insurance. And title insurance can be a very boring topic. A lot of people don't understand what title insurance is or why you need it. And we get calls all the time of, why would I need this? I don't want to pay for it at settlement. What is the importance? And if you're doing your job properly, why would I even need it? I get that question a lot.
Why does it say optional?
Optional, exactly.
That is so annoying. It should not be optional to anyone.
I agree.
So, yeah, Gabby and I decided to really get down to the basics on this discussion and talk about title insurance, because that's what we do. That's what we see every day.
Yeah,
and
it's one of the main, I mean, it's literally our job. It's the main thing that we do is we clear title and we insure title. So do you want to talk a little bit about what title insurance is broadly, just generally?
Yeah.
In like layman's terms.
Yeah, there's two types of policies, the owners and the lenders. And it's really important to understand the lenders only protects the lenders and the owners only protects the owners. And if you think about the fact that a lender wants title insurance, that says a lot. Like,
right, and that's required.
That is required. And the other thing I think people don't understand is lenders, as they pay down the loan, the coverage goes down. Where owners, if you have the homeowner's policy, the coverage increases. So as the value of your property increases, your coverage is increasing. Yeah. But I was going to ask you, what is one of the number one excuses, not excuses, but reasons that you get from a buyer when they say, I don't want title insurance? What is?
There's a few, but I would say number one is, oh, this property was in the same family or my family for years and years and years. Why would I need that? I know the owners. I know the history of the property. But that to me is a red flag because there hasn't been a title search done in years and years and years. So there could be something that predates when your family owned the property. There could be something that maybe whoever owned the property took out a lien back in, I don't know, 1990 and you didn't know about it. So there's a lot of things that intra-family transfers, when they say that, it's like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
actually, this is more important. You need, the property hasn't transferred in 40, 50 years. Like, you need to have a title search done.
And we hate seeing those deeds where it says up here, no consideration, no title exam, no title insurance, because that's like nothing's been looked at.
Right.
And the great aunt gave it to her son, who gave it to, and it just passes, like you said,
exactly,
from family member to family member. No one has done a title search, and it can be messier than a property that hasn't transferred between family members.
Correct.
The one excuse I get, not an excuse, but reason is condos. So to me, I'm intrigued by condos because it's basically like pockets of air that you're buying. And you're relying on an attorney who typically specializes in creating condo regimes to have done everything perfectly, like drafted the condo docs, the declarations, the plats, everything being recorded. And so you're putting a lot of trust that the condo regime was done properly. And so to me, I think condos are more, not vulnerable, but could have more issues than just a regular fee simple piece of property.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Another excuse I get that I mentioned earlier is, well, if you're doing a title search on my property and you're clearing all the liens or any issues and you're doing your job, why do I need title insurance if you're doing your job the right way? Well, there's like unforeseen things that come up too that might not show up in our title search. Maybe something was indexed improperly in land records. It happens in a different county, or maybe the name's spelled incorrectly and it doesn't show up in our title report. Or maybe someone left a property to someone in a will years prior and they're going to claim interest in the property. I mean, that's not recorded. That's not something that we can pull.
Unrecorded
documents.
Yeah. So there's so many times, attorneys that get the deeds. They get deeds done where they're putting it in a trust and they put them in their drawer and they don't record them.
Right, they forget. Or it gets rejected or maybe lost in the mail or lost in the shuffle.
And so you don't know that the intent was that this was supposed to be set up in a trust, or there was someone else that thinks they own it, but the deed never went through. So I think that's another reason.
Well, in our world, we see these issues almost every day. So, like, you would never buy a property without title insurance.
Oh, no.
I would never buy a property without title insurance. And I think anyone in this world, in this industry, would feel the same way just because they see the issues that consistently pop up. Now, I would say 98% of the time, you're probably not going to need your title policy.
But that's insurance.
But exactly. And it's a one-time upfront premium that you pay at settlement. It's not a recurring fee like homeowners insurance or car insurance. So it's very affordable. It protects you for the lifetime that you own the property, and you don't have to think about it.
And it protects your heirs as well. So it's not just you. And Gabby said it's affordable. That's the other thing that people come up with for another reason for not wanting title insurance.
If they want to save money.
Well, the Maryland Insurance Administration more or less regulates the premiums because every underwriter, whether it's Fidelity, First American, Stewart, they have to submit a rate manual to the Maryland Insurance Administration. It has to be approved. So those underwriters' premiums are within dollars or cents of each other, so there's not a whole lot of difference. And they're based on the loan amount and the purchase price. So the more expensive the house, the higher you're paying in a premium, and they're expensive, but they're worth it.
Well, see, to me, I don't think that it's that expensive because if you can afford to buy the home, you can afford to insure it. And why wouldn't you? It's your biggest asset, right?
For sure.
You're taking a lot of your money, a lot of your savings, you're putting it into something that is, it's your home. You don't want to ever lose that. So to pay the extra $2,000 or however much the premium is at closing, to me, it's kind of like a no-brainer, don't you think?
For sure, especially, it's already so expensive in Maryland.
Right.
Buy and sell, the transfer and recordation taxes are so expensive. And Gabby, the other thing that people ask me is the different types of coverage. Some people don't realize that, besides owners and lenders, there's two types of owners title insurance. And the American Land Title Association created the enhanced or homeowners policy, which is a little more expensive. Because it provides much more comprehensive coverage on a residential property. So do you get questions about
the differences?
Yeah, and the cost differences and why would I want this versus that? Does that come up a lot?
So the enhanced, we can call it the enhanced, is usually what we issue to residential purchases, right?
Unless it's a huge farm.
Right.
If it's over 25 acres or, there's some instances where you can't, but most residential properties.
So that's what we typically issue as the enhanced. There is also the basic or the standard policy, which, like you just mentioned, would be on certain things like larger lots, farmland, and then commercial. Also, if you're purchasing in an LLC or an entity, you have to take that basic standard policy. But for our typical residential homeowner, we usually issue the enhanced. And that enhanced, I think, is really special now, especially with AI and how prevalent fraud is.
Good point.
Because the enhanced policy also covers against fraud moving forward. Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's easy these days to fraudulently sign and record something if you really wanted to.
It's terrible, but you're right.
So I think that's one of the most important selling points of getting that enhanced policy these days.
I agree. Also, I can think of two other reasons why I think the enhanced is worth a little bit of extra money. One is it ensures access to the property, vehicular. The basic policy is just access. So, as my husband always says, you can have a billy goat trail and a goat, but it doesn't say your vehicle can drive onto the property. So I think that's huge. And also the enhanced increases 10% a year in its coverage
for the first 5 years, right?
So you get 150% coverage after 5 years. So
you kind of get more than what you initially paid for.
Right.
If you think about it that way. That's girl math. That's how I like to do math in my head.
No, it's well worth it. And as you say, your biggest asset, your biggest investment, you're protected. And the other thing why we're having this discussion is Gabby and I want our audience to interact with us. So we really want you to submit questions and comments and ideas because we're sitting here bantering and you might be thinking, oh man, I wish they'd talk about such and such related to title insurance, and we won't know unless you
tell us.
us.
Yeah.
So
you can send us
we're
some
game
messages
to cover any topic, and I also think in the future we have some great ideas for some guests besides Escarotti. So someone that is a little more interactive.
Yeah. Shh, okay. Don't let her talk about you like that.
He's a really good guest to have. He has disagreed with nothing. He's sitting there quietly listening.
He's perfect. He's perfect. He's taking mental notes.
So when I also think about title insurance, lines of credit. Like that's the biggest title claim out there.
Huge.
There are more title claims than any other issue in the title industry. So, like, what do you have an instance where that happened to you, or?
Not recently, but I think the reason why is that a lot of people, when they transfer property, say I'm a seller and I have a home equity line of credit on my property, it's paid off at settlement, or it should be paid off at settlement.
We hope.
But there's a second part. Yeah. There's a second part to that. Not only does it have to be paid off, the line of credit has to be closed. And a lot of times, I think title companies or attorneys that are handling settlements may not follow up on that with the bank that they've paid off.
Right.
So, like, for instance, when we pay off a home equity line of credit after settlement, we have to get something called a paid in full enclosed letter. And we have our borrower sign it so that we can submit it back to them. So that line of credit is wiped out, and then we track to make sure that that release actually gets on record. Right. Without the release on record, still open.
And
you don't know.
Banks, if that lender is purchased by another lender, you know how they gobble each other up, and it happens all the time that you trying to track down the release
can be difficult.
Yeah, the more time that goes by, it can be really challenging.
Well, you recently had a challenging home equity line of credit payoff, right?
Well, that kind of leads perfectly into our Gabbi and I like to talk about the close call of the month. These are segments that we're developing as part of this podcast that we think make it fun. But if you have any other ideas, let me know. So we have to honor people's privacy. So I'm not going to talk about a lender or a property, but I was trying to handle a closing within a really tight time frame, like 5 days. And there was a payoff on a line of credit. And it's amazing to me that we can order a payoff on a first mortgage, and you push it in. That you literally,
typically
it's
you
automated.
can do it on the phone.
Yeah, you order it on the phone, and by the time you hang up the phone, it's being faxed over to us. That's how most lenders, not all, but most, on a line of credit, 5 days.
Sometimes it's 15 days. I've gotten responses from, and I won't say the bank either, 15 days to process a home equity line of credit payoff. And not only that, you have to fill out a form. You have to email it to them.
The borrower has to authorize it.
Wet sign, not even an e-sign.
Yeah, no digital signing. I think I know why. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but banks love lines of credit.
I'm sure, because they're making money.
Yeah, and I don't think they want them closed down, so they make it hard to close it down. And 15 days, I thought 5 was bad.
Five's bad too, if you ask me.
Well, I said to the lender, I called multiple times. I was really annoying because this lender had so many different numbers. When you Googled it or whatever, I could find, and I just called every single one, and I just said, you are delaying a settlement. Like, we cannot settle until we have this payoff. And I think she's like, well, now we'll escalate the escalation. I'm like, okay.
How many times can you escalate the escalation to escalate? Like, I hate that excuse on the phone. I get it so many times.
But we try to be really patient. Yes. But I think lines of credit are tricky.
So did you get it?
We got it.
Yes. Okay.
In 5 days, we got the title work, a survey, the lien certificate, 2 payoffs.
That's
and
amazing.
we had to get a deed recorded going into a trust.
That's
I mean, I don't want to get into
that's a lot.
But 5 days, wham, bam, slam, we got it done. And it takes a lot to push that.
Pat yourself on the back for that one.
And Eddie.
Here.
We did it, but it's a team, right? It was like Emma and Meredith and Stacy, and our surveyors, and it takes a lot of effort from everyone. And pushing some jurisdictions to get their lien certificate
Wow.
issued. But lines of credit are one of the big issues. So tell me about your close call of the month, Gabbi.
Well, let's think. Oh, okay. I did have one, and this has to do with power of attorneys. So
always
power of attorneys are great tools to help people that may not be present for settlement, or maybe they're a little bit older and can't physically sign the documents.
But there's a lot of new,
or about to have a baby.
One of those. Yeah.
Yes, I had a woman earlier this year who was, I think, or no, she had just had her baby, so she couldn't fly in. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, they're fantastic to use, but a power of attorney pretty much just gives authorization for someone else to sign on your behalf.
Yep.
Right. And there's different types of power of attorneys. There's durable power of attorneys for people that may not be competent enough in the future to sign. So financial, residential, all the stuff.
Specific.
Right.
Transaction specific. We like if we can get that, right?
Yes. The one that I had was actually fairly straightforward. The woman signed the power of attorney for someone to sign the documents on her behalf. But this was put in place before the residential transaction. So there's a lot of other information in that power of attorney, very specific to bank accounts, to other things that, doesn't really
and I bet there was one original.
There was one original. Yeah.
That's the other
one
thing that happens.
Original.
Always make two, right?
Yeah. So the family was very leery about giving that to us because we have to record it, with the city. It was a city transaction. We have to record that document with the city. So first thing I had to do was redact all of the personal information that was in it.
You don't want that in public record.
And the city will not accept any power of attorneys that have phone numbers on them anymore. Just a heads up. So if you see a phone number or any personal information.
They also should not accept
it had
any with social security.
It had the social. So I redacted that. Also, this was a 20-some page power of attorney. It wasn't just like our typical limited specific. So they said, I really do not want you to hand off this power of attorney to the city for recording. Like, we're scared we're going to lose it. And I mean, it was like a mad rush dash to the finish because we actually had to hand record the deed for this one. There was like withholding tax. So we couldn't electronically record everything. So what I had our buddy Justin in our office and post-closing do is we recorded that power of attorney 2 days before settlement to get that on record
through
Simplifile,
which is digital, so you don't have to give up the original to anyone.
Able to get that on electronically, so that power of attorney never left my desk. So I kept it, safekeeping, and then it got on record within 24 hours. So Baltimore City,
amazing. Baltimore City.
Well, it only had to go through the first stop. Didn't have to go to the transfer desk. Right. So, but Justin really got into gear. Everyone was on board with it. We were able to get it done. Stacy helped tremendously, and Chris, our abstractor, helped tremendously in organizing and helping me understand the process. So that was a huge win, but a very close call because the last thing I wanted to do was hand that power of attorney off to the city and not see it for 3 months.
No,
so
I mean, I get it.
A little scared.
Really, responsible for that, and I know Gabbi, like myself, we're just, we're dedicated, devoted to our clients and making sure everything goes smoothly, and that could be really hard on a family to lose the only one.
The only one. Yep.
So that's your close call of the month.
It was.
The really good thing about these close calls is we pulled them off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, they were close, but we got it done. I'm sure we're going to have a story where we didn't get it done because we're human, and that's the thing in title. Like, mistakes are going to happen. They
Well, you always told me that mistakes always happen. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's the way that you respond and handle the mistakes that differentiates you. Yeah. So, and I've taken that to heart. It's true. I mean, nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But as long as you can rally and fix it and address it and be responsible about it, then.
Yep. I lose sleep over mistakes, but I know Brad told me, Brad Walsh, that in title there's two things that can take care of any problem out there. One is time, and two is money. And it's so true because, maybe I didn't collect the recapture tax, or maybe they weren't a first-time home buyer, and as hard as we pour over things and study them in multiple sets of eyes, some of them just slip through. It's just there's room. There's so much going on, and there's mistakes happen. So
anytime there's money involved too.
Yeah, people get
stakes are higher, stress is higher, and that's what we do. We balance all of the money. We act as the bank of the transaction, and if we're off by $1, it's on us.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and if you haven't paid the water bill and you submit it to the city for recording and you owe $1, the deed doesn't go through.
Right. Deed
so
gets
you
rejected.
You have to really pay attention to every part of the process. So. So Gabbi, we should talk about our plans for next month.
Yeah,
because we kind of we're still formulating our format, but
we are
trying to hear back from you all to figure out what it is that you might want to hear us talk about, and what guests you might want to have. But I think we're going to be talking about gratitude and because it'll be
naturally Thanksgiving and fall themed. I mean, everything fall is happening, which I love. Yep. I'm so excited. I like to wear the sweaters, the cozy pants, so I'm really looking forward to next month's. And every year I do a big Friendsgiving, so I'll probably talk about that on the next episode.
That's good of you.
So if there's any traditions that you do with your family, with your friends, anything specific for Thanksgiving, or even
recipes,
recipes, or what I really would love this year is some suggestions for cute things to do with toddlers. Because I've seen all these cute little turkey, like the handprint with the turkeys.
Yes.
But I need some things to keep this crazy little boy occupied, but also maybe turn it into something cute, keepsakes.
Yeah,
I need some good ideas.
Good ideas for toddlers, recipes, things you're grateful for. We're grateful for all of you.
Yes.
And we'll also revisit what was the #1 Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Because Gabbi thinks she has it nailed.
Right.
And one thing I didn't talk about is my grandson, my older grandson, what he wants to be for Halloween.
What does he want to be?
He said, Bubby, I'm going to be Chef Donald. And I said, Graham, what is Chef Donald? And he watches this cartoon, this Donald Duck cartoon. I think it's from the 1940s. And it's Donald Duck, and he's making waffles. And instead of putting in water or milk into the mix, he puts in rubber cement.
What?
And just use your imagination. And a 3.5-year-old,
that's so funny.
Thinks it's hysterical. So he wants like Donald Duck with a chef's hat. That's what she does.
Oh, that is
and
so
I'm like,
cute.
Okay, Chef Donald. No one else.
I'm gonna need pictures of that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty clever.
It's gonna be tough this year because I loved our Halloween costume last year, so I'm still brainstorming.
Wait, I'm sorry, I forget.
So last year, Bennett was 6 months old, I think. He was so cute, this little peanut. And we call him Benny. And one of my favorite movies growing up was The Sandlot. Do you remember The Sandlot?
Yes, of course. And you guys dressed up.
So Benny the Jet Rodriguez was one of the main characters in The Sandlot. Two of the other characters, Squints and Wendy Peppercorn, were big in the movie.
Wow, you really?
Yeah. So my husband TJ was Squints, I was Wendy, and then Bennett, our son, was Benny the Jet, and it was really cute. He had a little Dodgers hat that I sewed to make it fit his head, and he had a little jersey one that said Rodriguez, and little PF flyers that I made for his shoes.
That was a good. That was a good choice.
And I loved that, so I'm gonna have to top that this year. But I have a few ideas.
I'm sure you do. Well, I always am a witch. I mean, it's really lazy, but I hand out trick or treat.
This year you should be a good witch. Follow the theme.
Yeah, I might be a good witch.
Yeah, be Glinda.
Glinda the good witch. But I hope everyone has a really nice Halloween, and we'll look forward to gathering. Again next month.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks, Gabbi.
All right, thanks,
See
Betsy.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.